Imagine yourself on a serene beach with the gentle sound of waves crashing in the background, a cooling breeze brushing against your skin. Welcome to this special yoga lesson, where you'll not only find peace and tranquility but also learn the art of blending yoga with acrobatic tricks. This comprehensive lesson is designed to harness the power of yoga and the excitement of acrobatics, all within a mere 15 minutes on our YouTube channel. We start with a brief warm-up. Stand tall with your feet shoulder-width apart. Engage in deep, mindful breaths. Inhale positivity, exhale the tension. Begin with gentle neck rolls, easing away the day's strains. Next, move into shoulder rolls and arm stretches to prepare your muscles for the journey ahead. Now, let's flow into sun salutations. Start in mountain pose, breathe in and lengthen your spine. On the exhale, fold forward, reaching for your toes. As you inhale, lift halfway up, creating a flat back. Exhale, step or hop back into a plank position and lower down slowly. Glide into an upward dog on your next breath in, followed by downward dog as you exhale. Repeat this sequence 3 times to feel the energy surging through your body. Transitioning smoothly, we move into the acrobatic part of our session. Let's begin with the crow pose. Squat down, place your hands on the ground, shoulder width apart. Shift your weight forward, balancing your knees on your upper arms. Focus on a point in front of you and lift your feet off the ground. Hold this pose for a few breaths before gently coming back down. Next, let's experience the exhilaration of a supported headstand. Start in a kneeling position and interlace your fingers, placing your forearms on the ground. Create a solid base with your hands and forearms, then place the crown of your head on the ground, nestled in your interlaced fingers. Straighten your legs and walk your feet closer to your body. Engage your core, lift your legs slowly off the ground, and extend them towards the sky, using a wall for support if needed. Hold this empowering pose for as long as you feel comfortable, breathing steadily, focusing on the balance and strength within you. Finally, move into will pose to open up your heart and shoulders. Start by lying on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the ground. Place your hands beside your ears, fingers pointing towards your shoulders. Press into your hands and feet, lift your hips towards the sky, and straighten your arms and legs. Feel the exhilarating stretch in your spine and chest, holding this powerful pose for a few breaths before returning gently to the ground. Yoga is a practice with ancient roots that aims to harmonize mind, body, and spirit through various physical postures, breathing exercises, and meditation techniques. For beginners, it is essential to start slowly, listen to your body, and focus on building a strong foundation. Here is a simple introduction to get you started on your yoga journey. First, find a quiet, comfortable space where you can practice without distractions. Ensure you have a yoga mat, comfortable clothing, and possibly some props like blocks or a strap if you need them for support. Begin your practice with a few moments of mindfulness. Sit comfortably on your mat, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, allowing your belly to expand, and exhale through your mouth, letting go of any tension. This will help ground you and prepare your mind for the practice ahead. Next, start with a gentle warm-up to prepare your body. Cat-cow stretches are an excellent way to begin. Come to all fours on your mat with your wrists under your shoulders and knees under your hips. On an inhale, arch your back, lift your head and tailbone towards the sky in cow pose. On an exhale, round your spine, tucking your chin and tailbone in for cat pose. Repeat this for 5 to 10 rounds, synchronizing your breath with your movements. Once you feel warmed up, you can move into some basic standing poses. Mountain pose is a great foundational pose. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, grounding firmly through all 4 corners of your feet. Engage your thighs, draw your navel in towards your spine, and lift your chest. Let your arms rest by your sides with your palms facing forward. Take a few deep breaths here, feeling the strength and stability in your body. From mountain pose, you can transition into other standing poses such as warrior 1 and 2. For warrior I, step your right foot back, keeping your left knee bent and aligned over your ankle. Pivot your right foot slightly outward and lift your arms overhead, palms facing each other. Square your hips towards the front, and hold for several breaths before switching sides. For warrior 2, start in a similar stance but open your hips to the side and extend your arms out parallel to the floor, gazing over your front fingertips. Be sure to practice both sides equally to maintain balance. Moving on to balance poses, tree pose is a wonderful way to improve your focus and stability. Start in mountain pose, then shift your weight onto your left foot. Bring the sole of your right foot to your inner left thigh or calf, avoid placing it directly on your knee. Press your hands together at your heart center or extend them overhead like branches. Find a focal point to help maintain your balance and hold for several breaths before switching sides. After practicing standing and balance poses, it's important to cool down with some seated stretches. Seated forward bend is a calming pose that targets the hamstrings and lower back. Sit with your legs straight out in front of you. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and on the exhale, hinge at your hips to reach your hands towards your feet. Welcome to your first step into the world of yoga. This beginner-friendly yoga sequence is designed to help you ease into the practice, improve flexibility, and cultivate mindfulness. We will begin with a few simple poses, focusing on proper alignment, gentle stretches, and calming breathing techniques. Let's start by making sure you have a comfortable, quiet space and a yoga mat. Wear loose, comfortable clothing, and keep a water bottle nearby to stay hydrated. We'll begin our practice with a grounding exercise. Sit cross-legged on your mat, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, expanding your belly, and exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension. Repeat this 5 times to center yourself. Our first pose is the mountain pose, or Tadasana. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, arms at your sides. Spread your toes and ground down through all 4 corners of your feet. Engage your thigh muscles by lifting your kneecaps, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Imagine a string pulling you up from the crown of your head, elongating your spine. Hold this pose for 5 breaths. Next, we'll move to the forward fold, or Uttanasana. From mountain pose, hinge at your hips and fold forward, extending your torso towards your legs. Keep a slight bend in your knees to avoid straining your hamstrings. Let your head hang heavy and your arms dangle towards the floor. This pose helps to release tension in your back and hamstrings. Hold this for 5 breaths. Now let's transition to the cat-cow pose. Come onto your hands and knees on the mat. Ensure your wrists are directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. For cow pose, inhale and arch your back, dropping your belly towards the mat and lifting your gaze towards the ceiling. For cat pose, exhale and round your back, drawing your belly button towards your spine and tucking your chin to your chest. Repeat this flow 5 times, synchronizing your breath with your movements. From here, we'll move into child's pose. Sit back on your heels, bring your big toes to touch, and open your knees wide. Extend your arms forward and rest your forehead on the mat. This is a restorative pose that helps to calm the mind and stretch the back. Stay here for 5 to 10 breaths, or as long as you need to feel relaxed. Lastly, we'll end our session with a short meditation in the Savasana pose. Lie flat on your back, let your feet fall open, and rest your arms by your sides with your palms facing up. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths, allowing your body to sink into the mat. This pose helps to integrate the benefits of your practice and leaves you feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. Spend at least 5 minutes here, focusing on your breath and letting go of any remaining tension. Congratulations, you've completed your first yoga session. Remember, yoga is a practice, not a perfection. The more you practice, the better you'll feel and the more benefits you'll reap. Namaste. Welcome to our 15-minute yoga acrobatics fusion lesson. This session is designed for those looking to add a bit of flair to their regular yoga routine with some exciting acrobat tricks. Please ensure you're warmed up before starting, and always listen to your body to avoid injury. We'll start with a brief introduction to our flow, which includes a sequence of dynamic yoga poses skillfully blended with acrobatic elements. Ready? Let's begin. First, we'll start in mountain pose. Stand tall, feet hip-width apart, grounding through your feet. Inhale deeply, raising your arms overhead into an extended mountain. Exhale and slowly fold forward into a forward bend, stretching your hamstrings and lengthening your spine. From here, place your hands on the ground and step back into a plank pose. Ensure your body forms a straight line from head to heels, engaging your core. From plank pose, lower your body down into chaturanga, maintaining control and alignment. Roll forward into upward facing dog, opening up the chest and lifting the heart. Exhale and move into downward facing dog, pushing your hips back and lengthening through the spine and legs. For our first acrobatic element, come into three-legged by extending your right leg high behind you. Engage your core and keep your hips square. From three-legged dog, transition into a new pose we call star pose. To do this, bend your lifted leg's knee and open your hips, reaching your opposite arm toward the sky while balancing on one hand and foot. It may take a few tries, but with practice, you'll find your balance. Next, lower your lifted leg back to the ground into downward facing dog once more. Repeat on the other side. Now, we'll move into crow pose. From downward dog, bring your feet forward until you're in a squat position. Place your hands shoulder width apart, and gently lift your knees, resting them on the backs of your upper arms. Engage your core and carefully lift your feet off the ground, balancing on your hands. Hold for a few breaths, then gently lower your feet back down. From here, transition into a seated position, extending your legs out in front of you for a forward fold. Breathe deeply, allowing yourself to relax into the stretch. The next trick in our sequence is the flying pigeon pose. Start from a standing position, bend forward, and grab your right foot with your left hand. Slowly lift your right leg up and place your right ankle over your left knee, forming a figure 4. Then, bend your left knee and lower your hips while eventually lifting your right foot off the ground. Use your arms for balance. Hold for a few breaths and repeat on the other side. To wind down our session, let's finish with some soothing poses. Return to downward facing dog, and then transition into child's pose by bringing your knees to the floor, touching your big toes together and sitting back onto your heels. Stretch your arms forward and rest your forehead on the ground.